This video is best viewed in higher definition. To enable, click the Settings button at the bottom of the page, just here. Then click the drop-down box under Quality, and then select the highest definition offered, in this case 720 HD. Enjoy the video. So what we're going to do is try and show you some of the main features of DTFL Pro, and I'll run through them each. Let's first of all get it loaded onto MT4. Here's DTFL Pro version 1.21. You can either drag it onto the chart or double click. So I'll drag it onto the chart and release it. This brings up a list of the inputs that will be loaded. They're the default inputs. I've actually got a set of inputs that I use for this broker and this time setting, so I've set them all up here. So I'm just going to use that. So I've clicked that, so that's loaded them in. Press OK, and then it will load it onto the system. It comes up with your warning, which you must accept, and once that's done, it then loads it up onto the chart. Let's just make this a bit bigger. You've got a smiley face in the top right corner here, DTFL Pro version 1.21 with a smiley face. That shows that it's all working correctly. This is a GMT broker, so you can see here, so the day starts at 2200, so the Asian session is 2200 to 6 in the morning in pink. It overlaps here into the US session is the London session, and at the moment, as you can see, we're in the New York session. Also shown up here is the DTFL ADR, which is 147.6. That's the average of the last 14 days. If I wanted to hide the DTFL ADR panel from the top corner here, I go to this screen here, click on it. You see here it says hide DTFL ADR panel. To click it, it means yes, I do want to hide it, and then if I apply it, it will be hidden. So if I want to come back again, go to it. If I don't want it hidden and apply it, it will come back again. So that's how you hide that. So I do want it there. So I'm going to go through each of these screens. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 screens. The first one is the PPLines and start time screen. So let's apply that. So this is the first time I've used DTFL Pro on in this session. So when it opens up, it will automatically display 10 PP lines. It will display 5 upper ones and 5 lower ones, and they will be situated approximately 20 pips. The 5 upper PP lines will be situated 20 pips start, 20 pips above current price, and then at 3 pip intervals, and the 5 lower PP lines will be set initially, the first one 20 pips below current price, and then 3 pips in each. So these are what I call PP lines, and Chad and Sterling call them high probability manipulation points, which is a bit of a mouthful, so I call them PP lines. And this screen gives you the opportunity to set up, it's a very important screen, you're going to use it every day, for setting up your PP lines. And these are the key ingredient for whether you're going to be successful with this strategy or not, because if you've got good PP lines, then it's going to help greatly. If you haven't got PP lines, then you're going to struggle. The good thing is that both Chad and Ster use their experience to provide you with PP lines. If you're not confident enough to select them yourself, you can go to the members area to review Sterling's PP lines, which he does in the daily market review in advance, which you can then copy and enter into here. And Chad runs a daily blog, which is on the front of the site, which is available to everyone, and he has his set of PP lines as well. They do differ slightly, and they've got slightly different views on things, but majority of the time they are very similar. Obviously, as you get a bit more experience, then you've got your own style and your own thoughts on things. You can start obviously just using your own lines and setting them. There's 2 ways to input these numbers. We've been to the seen the daily market review, or we've taken them from Stir's review, or we've taken them from Chad, and we want to manually input them. So let's say there's only 3 upper PP lines in the daily market review, so therefore we won't need this one or this one. There's upper PP line 4 and 5, and there's 3 lower PP lines as well, so you won't need lower PP line 4 or lower PP line 5. So just so you know which ones we're talking about, upper PP line 1 2, 3, 4, and 5 is upper PP line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the way to do it is from current price. Upper is the first one, then the second one, then the third, then the fourth, then the fifth, and going to the lower is the first, the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth. So let's first of all, we want to set upper PP line 1, which is this line here. How I would do that, two ways. First of all, I can type in there and enter the price, which is from the daily market review. 1 point, oops, sorry, I clicked out of it, didn't I? Let's click up. I'm going to type over it. So 1.13. Let's say it's 330. So we've entered it. Now I've overtyped it. You must press the enter button for it to be entered into DTFL Pro. So I'm pressing the enter button. When I press the enter button, did you see it moved the line? It moved up to there. I'll do it again. Let's make it a bit higher this time. So again, this is still the line I just moved. This is what we're talking about. So it's 1.13. Let's make it what should we do? 1.3670. Should we make it 670? So now watch this line here. When I press enter, it should jump up. There we go. It's jumped up to 1.3670. So that's one way you can do it. Let's show you again. So show you this one. So this one here we're going to do, which is the second one up, which is so that's is the upper line PP2. So let's use that one to, I don't know, what's that? Over type there. We're going to use what? 1.13745. And don't forget to press the enter button, most important, as it won't work. Enter, and there it is. It jumps up to there. And now let's push the last one, and we'll set that one at 1.13815. Press the enter button, and there it is, gone up there. And so these two, just what I tend to do is I just put number 4 up there out the way, number 5 up there out the way, because I'm not going to use them anyhow. And you'll see why I do that later. So those ones we've put in like that. Now let's say another way of setting them is by just dragging them. So to set the lower PP lines, what we're going to do is because we're not using number 5 and number 4, I'm going to put them down there out the way. Let's say we're going to set this one there, this one there, and this one here. As you see, as I pick this, look at this one first. This is lower PP line 1. Watch over here. As I pick it up and drop it, it changes the price. As you can see, that's changing every time I move it. So when I drop it to there, it changes. Now I'm going to go to do number 2, lower PP line 2. Lift it up, drop it. See it's moving. It's every time I pick it up and drop it. So let's say we're going to set it there. And say this one moves the same, so we're going to set it there. So just reiterate, there's two ways of doing it. You can either type in the box, over type, and press the enter button. Must press the enter button, don't forget that. Or you can pick up, move these lines, drop them, and it will move them and drop them, and it will just like that. It will just change it for you. I would suggest you're probably going to be over typing if you're taking the numbers from the daily market review. If you're setting it yourself, then you're probably going to be dragging and dropping them. Something that's very important you must be aware of. If you change the time frame when MT4 is on this chart, it's actually starting a new operation and everything restarts. So if you're going to do dragging and dropping your lines, probably what you need to do is you're going to have to make the view zoom out or zoom in, or you might have to change the scale up and down so you can see where you want to place your lines. And then you're going to need, you can do that. You can scale up and down, you can make them bigger or smaller. That's not a problem. It doesn't affect DTFL Pro. What you cannot do is change the time frame. So if you are going to be protecting your PP lines using the 1 hour chart, you're going to have another chart open to do your analysis. And then once you've got the numbers, then come to the 15-minute chart and input them in manually by overtyping. Is probably going to be easier. It will start a new operation every time you change the time frame. So we don't want to do that. It is not good practice to do it. As you can see, so I'm going to now, we've opened it up a bit, so I'm just going to reset them again. See, nothing's actually been set at the moment. I'm just going to drop them down. Actually, I'm going to set the first 3. And in fact, I'm going to I'm going to have 5 upper lines. Change my mind. There we go. So I'm going to have 5. Nothing's been set at the moment. And I'm going to have 5 lower lines as well. Let's click them. No, we'll just have 3 lower lines. So these 2 here, they're not going to be used. And these 3, we'll leave them as they are. So what I can do now, once I've done that, I can now save these numbers on what we see here. If I save this, it means I can close this screen. When I return to it, it will present me with these numbers. So let's just do that now, and I'll show you. So, alternative, before I do that, if I press cancel, then what that would do, it was none of these things would be stored. And when I reopened this screen, if it was the first time it'd been opened this chart, you get the 5 lines above and 5 lines below, as we saw initially. Or if there had been something previously saved, you get that displayed instead. So all this work that I've done now, if I push cancel, none of it will be saved. So that's one way of saving nothing. If I press save, then it will save everything I've got here so that I can return to it and it will be there. So I'm going to do that now. Save it. So it will save all these lines as they are now and all these details here and this time here. So I'm going to save it. So I've saved it. Now if I cancel it like that, now if I open it again, there they are. You can see they're all saved. If I'd have just cancelled it without saving, then all those lines would have been lost and those levels would have been lost. So I've saved them. They're not active at the moment. All they are is they're temporary PP lines, shall we call them. They're there so that I can use them. Nothing will happen. If I left it open like this and price went through them, there'd be no stop run or anything like this because these lines aren't active at the moment. All they are is they're saved. And because I haven't started an operation yet. They're there. I can start an operation, but I haven't. So at the moment, it would have no effect. Nothing would take. These lines mean nothing at the moment. All right. So let's cancel it again. So now what I could do, now I could go away and open up all these things, change them around, set things up, then return to here and say, right, I'm now ready. My lines are all set up. I've previously done them. I want to start a new operation. I've got 2 choices now when I start this new operation. Firstly, I can start it at a time in the future. So the time now on this chart is it's about 1800 GMT. So it's about 6 o'clock in the evening. So I could put in here, I want to start it in about half an hour's time, maybe. So 1830. Press enter, and then if I did now push new operation, what it would happen, you'd see nothing on the chart initially. Everything would go blank, but at 1830 it would draw these 5 upper PP lines and these 3 lower PP lines on the chart. So it isn't there immediately, there is a delay, and it will draw them when you set this time for.
So I've pulled this video here to make an important point. When using the start on time feature, it is possible that in the intervening time from when you've actually entered your PP lines to when they are actually drawn on the chart, current price may well have moved above an upper PP line, or it may have moved below a lower PP line. Now DTFL Pro, when it goes to draw the lines on the chart, will recognise this fact, and if that is true, it will treat those PP levels as invalid. It will treat them as invalid, and it will therefore not be drawn on the chart. And if you look under the terminal button and the experts tab, a note of this is made. It actually says invalid PP line, giving the price, and it tells you it will not be used. If you've entered a PP line and then it isn't drawn on the chart, that's the reason why. And now back to the video.
But I'm not going to use a start on time. What I'm going to do, I'm going to start now. So that means that as soon as I push new operation, the lines will be drawn on the chart immediately and they'll become set immediately. So the lines will be set. So let's do that now. Push the new operation, and in the next tick, these lines appear. There they are. Okay, so there we got upper 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and lower 1, 2, and 3. So they've been drawn on the chart. These are now in the set state, and you can choose the colors, you can choose the thickness. You can see they've got little tags next to them. If I actually rescale the chart, you'll see that these they don't initially, they only follow the lines on the next tick. That's just the way that MT4 works. See, the next tick they then catch it up. There's nothing to worry about. It's only there for just cosmetic reasons to let you know, mind you, which line is which. So you've got lower 1, 2, and 3, upper 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And what we're obviously looking for, these are in the blue set state. If price comes up, breaks through them, and a stop run occurs on either of these levels, they will turn to the green or active state. And then if they're deactivated, they will turn to the deactivated state and they will turn red. So it goes from blue to green and then to red. That's what the different colors are. You can change those colors. You can change how these lines look, the thickness in the parameters. So that is the PP lines and start time. That's the first of our screens that I'm going to show you. The next one I'm going to show you, and we'll move on to, is the stop run and confirming candle screen.